they'll just Google Gene Keys Living Library. And what's cool is it's like a Rolodex of every code. So if you're just, even if a number is popping up in your life, and you could say, what's that number? Go there and go read this code or a little bit about it and see what you can find out about it. Use it like an oracle. This is based off the I Ching, which used to be an oracular, it still is an oracular divination system. It's the same thing we're doing right now. Oracle, divine information. And so it just wasn't as easily translated before, but now we're able to translate the information a little easier than if we knew I Ching's a little more cryptic in the information. This is a little straight to the point. Anyway, so you can Google Gene Keys Living Library, plug in any code, but the point I wanted to show you is they just put this new thing here where you can choose a random key. And it happens to be that the random key, so when you push that button, it'll put a code out for you, like pulling a card, right? And you'll get that energy or guidance. So if you want to contemplate something and you don't know what to contemplate, you can go play with this. But the point is, when I pulled it up the 44, which is what I want to talk to you guys about, which is the card here. And I was already telling you guys the 44 and the 50. And so I'll read what this says. It's the shadow of interference. And what I like to say about this is you can imagine that we've been tuned into interference patterns that have kept us from tuning into the higher essence of the language and the understanding, to the gift of teamwork, and then ultimately to the Synarchy, which they call the coming of the queendom. And the coming of the queendom isn't just about women, it's about men and women coming together, but ultimately, to me, I see it more like the coming of the mother, who makes sure that everyone's taken care of on the planet, no exceptions. And so the Synarchy means we all lead together. It doesn't mean that we're all the same. Not at all. It means that our uniqueness has a place within the orchestra. And instead of just playing a nice tune and being oblivious to all those around us, we begin to play in harmony with everyone. And what I believe is coming together with this codon ring of the Illuminati, which is about the first wave of consciousness as a group that's kind of doing what we're talking about here, then it's creating the next waves. Well, let me just read you what it is, codon ring.
Also, Alisha, about
10?
Okay.
Okay, perfect. Well, good. This is a perfect way to end it. I probably won't go back with you right now, but I'll at least close this thing down.
Yeah, we can close the recording session part, and then you can save the Q&A.
No, this is perfect. Oh, so going back to what I'm talking about with this living library, when you go in, I'd like to say, you don't need the book for this information. You're getting codes when you even look at this. This is so beyond reading a book. It's connecting the DNA. It's connecting amino acids. This isn't just some hairy-fairy floaty stuff I'm talking about. We're merging spirituality and biology. We're merging spirituality and physicality. And eventually science will understand this, but they don't yet, because they used to call it junk DNA, but it's not junk. We're playing with our junk now. We're turning our junk into magic. Okay. And the 44 has to do with karmic relationships. And now, in one way, we could think of karmic relationships like something bad, but in another way, we see it as group soul families organizing together, and that's what this is, to make fractal impacts. So let's talk about this. The codon ring.
Is this information in the library?
So once you go in, you can pick a code. There's all 64. You pick it, and then you can go down. You'll see this, and then look at all these things. You can see the I Ching explanation, the codon ring, which is something I haven't talked to you guys yet, but I would love to share at some point. But we'll kind of close this one up. Astrology connection, so you can even see if you're into astrology how it connects there. What else? Human design, the dream arc. Actually, how dogs and animals. So this is interesting. Because guess what's connected to the 44? Dogs. It says wild dog, but still. So the 44 is connected to dog, and the dog represents teamwork. And so this is how I use the shamanic codes of the external reality to kind of grid information. Does anyone know whose dog this is? It is. It's a wild dog.
Everybody's done.
Oh my god. Look, I'm open to this right now, by the way, that says Dream Arc Totem Codex Wild Dog.
Wild dog. He heard the call.
So this tells me that we're really gridding this in. By the way, the 44 is also connected to the B. And it's also connected to the crystal calcite. So let's go ahead and grid in this, because this is what I believe is happening right now, is called the activation of the codon ring of the Illuminati. But it's not the one we've ever been told, because people have used words to call things bad things through their duality, fear perspectives, but we're clearing all that. In case anyone's still hearing stuff about the moon being bad, that's a duality story that people are talking about that's keeping you from uniting the dark side. The ring of the Illuminati is uniquely coded with the harmonic geometries of our higher, and just like that, he just came and went. Amazing. This is out of a movie. The ring of the Illuminati is uniquely coded with the harmonic geometries of our higher evolutions. As this codon awakens throughout the human genome, the higher subtle bodies of humankind will self-organize into potent and coherent formations of awakening beings. This is what's happening right now. Our higher bodies have brought us here. Our higher bodies put us in locations on the planet, in formulations and groups. This is sacred geometry. Whether you stay permanently in this area or you then take this and go somewhere else, that's also a part of the geometry. But we trust the geometry. We trust the self-organization that's taking place beyond us needing to know anything. When we don't need to know anything, self-organization and cosmic order can take place. When we don't need to know anything, self-organization and cosmic order can then take place with super ease and grace and fun magic, more than we could have imagined in our limited mental planes up until now. As this codon awakens throughout the human genome, the higher subtle bodies of humankind will self-organize into potent and coherent formations of awakening beings. This higher social harmony will progressively reveal itself as human beings move beyond the domain of shadow consciousness and realize the harmonic blueprint that underlies all human civilization. Humanity has always sensed the presence of the Illuminati, or chosen ones. We have woven them into our legends, dreams, and even our conspiracy theories. Commonly misunderstood, the Illuminati refers to a higher evolution of celestial beings, or ascended masters, who are not separate from us, but are our higher nature personified. And so, in the past we've connected with ascended masters. No, you are an ascended master. It's all sitting right here. And your ascended master or your avatar wants to come down here. And so this is why we don't look to anyone else to be the ascended master, or we're not calling in an ascended master. You're the ascended master. And so we have wove them into our legends. Let's see, where did that go? Commonly misunderstood, the Illuminati refers to a higher evolution of celestial beings or ascended masters who are not separate from us, but are our higher nature personified. We now live in the time of the gathering of the Illuminati, a time of unprecedented planetary change, where its fields of harmony draws us in and gradually transforms our cellular DNA into its highest mode of functioning. And so I guess with that, I'm just going to say this one little thing. It's like a chant. Feel free if you want to say it with me a few times, because I believe we're located at the crystal core center, galactic center of the earth. And so may the heartbeat of her crystal core bless us with harmonies to end all war. May the heartbeat of her crystal core bless us with harmonies to end all war. And singing is a part of this. So I keep talking about the singing and the dancing. And if I can stop being emotional, but I'm also honoring this emotion, I'm feeling deep gratitude for this moment in time with all of you. And I'm feeling deep gratitude for a vision that I've been shown that I know we're all a key part of. And I feel deep gratitude for the change that will be made on this entire planet through us remembering and opening our hearts to love and clearing our indifferences. And so much more to come. My heart's beating so fast. This whole day, even the dog coming, is just pretty trippy for me when I've been working with how animals integrate, because we're working with holograms. We're working with hologenetic profiles, holographic information, shamanic information. So we are getting feedback from everything, right? It's very important that that dog came at the moment that I'm reading that this. Do you see how the destiny of everything unfolding is working? And so there's so much more to come, right? So we hurry up and get through this funny little part, and this is how we end war on the planet. Because the reason there's war on our planet is because each one of us are in war with this battle of this shadow aspect of the self. This is all it is, plain and simple, macro, microcosm. So the more of us that work on the battle of the war within the self is really how we make that impact, which is why we're here today. So now I'm going to sing the song, if I can. May the heartbeat of her crystal core bless us with harmonies to end all war. May the heartbeat of her crystal core bless us with harmonies to end all war. And I hope you find yourself singing. You know, if you're not singing, like I didn't really, just find yourself singing. If you get in that funny spot here, sing yourself out of it. If you're uncomfortable with singing or you think you don't have a good voice or whatever, do the ohms or get the sound moving out of the voice. That's what this magical Egyptian Andara is all about. If we can move the energy here, then we move it up here. I was shown this in a mushroom ceremony one time on the beach. I was fallen over with this deep, dark sadness, and I didn't know how to get out of it. And for me personally, I've not felt sadness and darkness like this before. So the first thing I was learning in this mushroom experience was to have compassion for anyone going through darkness and sadness, because I couldn't always understand that. But then the next thing the mushroom told me to do was to sing. And I remember saying, I can't sing. It's so dark. I'm so down. I'm so sad. I can't sing. And the mushroom said, sing again, and a few times. And finally I was just like, whatever, it came out. I don't know. I'm sure it wasn't beautiful, but I forced myself to open my mouth. I forced myself to sing a song. And like harmonies do, they pull you out of the dark. And so the more we're singing, the more we're dancing, the more we're toning within ourselves and then also within groups. And so as we're seeing these things organizing here of dancing and singing and like the whatever that thing at the river was the other day with the music and the holy shit, that was transcendental magic. I mean, more of that to come from the heartbeat of the crystal core, which is where we're at, the galactic 0 point. And whatever we're doing here is radiating out to all of humanity. And listen, you don't have to take my word for it, but we're sitting here in a hologram. We're sitting here in an imagination station. And anything you want to imagine is true. And so when we don't take on the stories of what anyone else is telling us about the narratives of what's going on out there, and we don't get caught up in those stories, we create new, beautiful things that have nothing to do with those stories. And they're not even in spite of or to fix those things, really. We're just playing in elevated fields of consciousness, and the singing helps us remember. So, okay, so that's it for now. Thank you guys so much.